Disneyland.
When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are.
Each week as you enter this timeless land, one of these many worlds will open to you. Frontierland. Tall tales and true from the legendary past. Tomorrowland. Promise of things to come. Adventureland. The wonder world of nature's own realm. Fantasyland. The happiest kingdom of them all.
And he made the trails, opened up the land, and he gave America a mighty helping hand. And he's on the move, and he won't rest, and he burned it, he's a traveling west.
And now your host, Walt Disney.
Maps like these have always held a great fascination for me, and I've been collecting them for many years. I think the secret of this fascination is that an old map tells a wonderful story of a people and a time in history. The kind of a story only a master storyteller can tell. Stuart Edward White was such a master of the storyteller's art, and a whole generation of Americans grew up with his stories. His wonderful wilderness novels, one after another, ran serially in their most popular magazines, and his books of adventure in the out of doors filled their bookshelves. As you can see, this was all not so very long ago. For his crowning work, The Saga of Andy Burnett was not published in its entirety until 1947. In both magazine and book form, this epic novel created a legion of Andy Burnett fans, whose loyalty remains as keen today as when they first read these exciting adventures of a young man on the frontiers of a young America. It is this story, an entirely new kind of story of the American West, never before told on television or in motion pictures, that we bring you now. For the next 3 weeks, a group of 3 adventures from the saga of Andy Burnett. And from time to time, there'll be other such groups until the whole great story is told. Now, let's turn back from our familiar America to the America of our fathers, and then further back to Andy's America and the saga of Andy Burnett.
Andy's on the move, Andy won't rest, Andy Burnett, he's a traveling west. The times are gone that he once knew, the endless woods and the sky so blue, the trails no man had trod before, the wilderness at the cabin door, the urge to know where the rivers flow, the freedom to up and pack and go. Lucky for us, a few men yet remember the saga of Andy Burnett. Andy made the trails, opened up the land, and he gave America a mighty helping hand. Andy's on the move, and he won't rest. Andy Burnett, he's a traveling west.
Sure this sarsaparilla ain't too strong for you?
Joe Crane. Yes, sir, old Joe Crane himself. Ain't heard of me, huh?
Nope.
Still too dad-blame fur east of the mountains, I reckon. Figured I might sleep it out at your place here tonight.
Beds is $50.
Hard doings. Maybe a bite of victuals?
Supper's $25.
Hard doings, all right. Mighty hard doings. How about a cup of cheer?
Drinks is $10.
Well, now that's more like. Don't mind if I do. Much obliged.
Sure the gun. It's him, all right.
Got something to do out back? Then get at it.
Your gun? Fine-looking piece.
says Daniel Boone.
It belonged to him once.
I see. Did you ever hear of a man named John Burkham?
I have, but I'd soon forget him.
He sent us after you.
Why?
He says you stole that gun and a poke of money when you lit out from his place.
It ain't so.
Maybe not, but he wants them back.
Well, he ain't gonna get them.
Closing your place up for the night. Any objections?
No, sir, Mr. Crane.
Well, then you just clear out.
Yes, sir.
Just clear
Yes,
out.
yes, sir.
And leave us be.
Yes, sir.
You all right, boy? Here. Pour your own.
Much obliged.
How'd have mixed sooner? I knowed that rifle there and that knife right off, but I didn't know you till you made that throw.
How could you know me? I sure never saw you before.
Well, there wasn't only but one man could teach you how to handle a blade so. That was his gun and his knife. And you got a mighty his look about you, if I remember right. You gotta be kin to Gail Burnett.
His grandson. Andy's the name.
Grandson?
Yeah.
Sure beats all that happens at time. Well, Andy Burnett, Joe Crane remembers your grandpappy when him and old Daniel Boone was the two most famous hunters in the woods of old Kentucky.
Huh.
Saw him many times as a little shaver. Reckon I learned a mite from him, too. This here, John Burkham, who sent them striped skunks after you, was he?
My stepfather. My grandmother and I have been staying on with him since my mother died.
No pay and hard doings for you both, eh?
Mostly. He's a hard man, and he's got worse.
Well, that old Boone gun isn't his for sure. How about the money? You got some, ain't you?
Some.
Is it his?
Grandfather left it. Grandmother gave it to me when I pulled out.
What do you know? An old he-coon of the woods like Gail Burnett dying a rich man. Tidy little sum, eh?
Tolerable for farm folk.
Farm folk? Gail Burnett and his kin? Why, he was next to Dan'l Boone himself for the long trails. He was a cloud. The wind, the river always moving. Wasn't no mud from no plow in his boots. If they was, he'd have scraped it off quick enough. Farm. No wonder you pulled out from that John Burkholm's place. Which way is your stick afloat now, boy?
My stick?
That's mountain talk sometimes you forget.
Mountains? The Rocky Mountains?
Take my word for it, boy, there ain't any other mountains worth the name.
You been there?
Been there. Why, old Joe Crane, he practically invented them there mountains. And he can't get back there fast enough. What I meant was, where you bound for it?
Downriver, Missouri, on a steamboat in the morning.
Say that shine! So am I! Don't reckon as how our host would mind if we make ourselves comfortable a bit. Daniel Boone's gun, Gail Burnett's knife, mite of money in the Pope, and the Burnett to ride the river with. Guess as how old Joe Crane's luck has changed for the better. Hunker down, boy, cozy up. Steamboat ain't due before tomorrow morning. Reckon as how we ought to get to know each other better, seeing as how we're gonna be tromping the trails together.
Hose for Louisville, Maysville, Cape Girardeau, and St. Louis. Step up for your passage. It's a long walk and a longer swim. Step up for your passage. 10 minutes to sailing time. Step up lively. Move along, you two. Make room for pay and trade. You got a ticket? Outside.
Looky here now, just mind who you hustle. How much to St. Louis?
$100, deck passage. Bed and feed yourselves.
Hey, it's a lot of beaver.
Show your money or move along.
I told you not to go itching your trigger. I just happened to be Joe Crane. Just happened to have been to Washington to see the president in some mighty important business.
Still $100 if you're the president himself. 6 minutes to sailing time. Cut over this way.
Fair price, Joe. Better than I expected. I'm going to get myself a ticket, and you better, too.
Now, wait a minute, dear boy. Just a minute there. You sure are a green one for certain. You watch this. Ah! How much for freight?
To St. Louis, 10 cents the pound.
10 cents a pound. Well, let's see now. I weigh about 150 pounds. Give or take about 50. See, 10 cents a pound at 150. It's times 150. That's about
$15.
$15, the way I reckon it. I'll go as freight.
Book the gentleman, Mr. Sanborn.
Book him, sir. What class?
You heard him. Freight. Then see stowed at the bottom of the hold, under the flour barrels.
Get nowhere that way.
Put your...
Well, it's wet powder. No fire to dry it.
We do know better. Now, let's just pay up and get on aboard.
Pay up with what?
Don't you have any money?
Money? I don't even have a poke to carry it.
How'd you get to Washington?
Well, folks was neighborly here and there along the way. But old Joe Crane going to see the president. Joe Crane going home again. Two different critters, it seems like. But, well, never mind, boy. You go on and get yourself aboard. Oh, Joe, he'll make out somehow, I reckon.
Well, maybe...
Maybe if you pay me back when we get to St. Louis.
Thunderation, Andy, how much money you got there? Ooh, Ooh, this is outfitting money for a real howler of a hunt in the mountains.
That's money for a Missouri farm from a grandmother and me.
Well, your grandpappy turn over in his grave with such talk about farms from one of his own blood? Here, you one generous monkey-suited river pirate, to St. Louis for Joe Crane and his partner. And a first-class cabin at that. 2 minutes to sailing time. Hurry, 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 hurry along, everybody. 2 minutes to sailing time. 2 minutes to sailing time. Get aboard, check in here, get aboard. 2 minutes to sailing time. Tolerable weather.
Beautiful country.
Oh, maybe for farmers. Hardly fitting for hibernants like you and me.
Hibernants? What's that?
Well, ain't you got any education at all, boy? Hibernants is them what's got whiskers on their chest and savvy in their heads. The he-coons of the trapping trade. Them what hibernates in the mountains in the wintertime and gets the fur.
Oh, you mean hibernates like a bear does?
Naturally, like I was saying, there ain't no room in this country. Gotta keep your elbows in close and not take no big, deep breaths for fear of punching some farmer in the rib. You just wait till you get out to the mountains, oh.
Told you, Joe, I'm not going.
Oh, now listen here, Andy, you're up ahead, ain't you? Once you've seen those prairies out there, you'll be bound to keep on going just to see what's the other side.
Someday, maybe, not now.
Well, leastways, you keep them lessons I've been learning you to mind, huh? Now, when buffalo run around little bunches, what does that mean?
Indians been chasing them not long ago.
Good. Now, here's something new to try. When you're looking for a new way through strange mountains, always watch high for rocks what is black. When rocks is black, that means that snow don't stick to them. And where snow don't stick, a man can't climb.
It's no use, Joe. I'm not going.
What do you think your grandpap and his friend Daniel Boone would say? They know this gun was just for popping off black squirrels in the Missouri River bottom when there's engines out yonder, boy, in Buffalo. And Grizzly Bar.
I'm thinking of my grandmother, Joe. She don't like staying on with this John Burkholm any better than I did. And I promised her I'd find us a farm of our own.
Young or old, it's always a woman that spoils a man. And the good ones ain't any better than the bad ones when it comes to that. One nigh got me one time.
You?
Yeah, hadn't been for a real good friend. She struck me like a case of swamp fever the first time I seen her. Felt queer all over, like a buffalo had been shot in his lights. Didn't care whether my rifle had hind sights or no. Yeah, if it hadn't been for that real good friend, I'd have been a gone beaver for sure.
What'd he do?
He married her. Say, Andy, there's something I've been meaning to mention to you about your money. There's a passel of light-fingered riffraff on this packet. Maybe you'd just better hand that poker yarn over to old Joe for safekeeping.
It's safe enough where it is.
Well, you just mind you got it with you, boy, when we get to St. Louis.
He made no fuss and meant no harm, with no Burnett to divide a farm. Unless the land was his alone, he'd rather be just a rolling stone. So he set out for St. Louis town, the river to ride the long way down, hoping to find along the way a place he could settle in where he could stay. And he made the trails, opened up the land, and he gave America a mighty helping hand. And he's on the move, and he won't rest, and he burned it, he's a traveling west.
Simmer down. Let it be.
Ought to be a law against packing so many human beings in one place. Anything might happen.
Oh, Burnett, just a minute. For you. Came aboard at Pittsburgh just before you and your partner showed up. But it says I wasn't to give it to you until we got here.
Thanks. It's from my grandmother. Wonder why she had it held up like this.
I don't know, but this sure ain't no place to read it. Come on. St. Louis. Beginning to feel like I'm getting close to home. Smell that?
Smell it? I've been smelling it for 2 weeks. River stink.
Not this time it ain't, boy. That's buffalo grass you smell. Kind of faint still, but it gets sweeter and stronger the further out in the plains you get. Still time to change your mind, boy. You know, one good hunt out yonder, you'll earn 10 times what a Missouri farm will pay you.
I told you, Joe, it's no use.
Andy, come on, boy. Sit down a minute. I want to tell you something. You know, Andy, it ain't just the profit or the shine I've tooken to you. It's, well, we need your likes out the mountain ways. You see, boy, the big companies is moving in. They're building forts, and they're liquorizing the engines, stirring them up something fierce. That's what I went back to Washington for, to tell the president what was going on, set him right. Us mountain men have got to raise enough hands out there to make a stand against them company thieves, or the mountains ain't gonna be no fit place for a white man.
I'd give anything to go with you, but I can't. A promise is a promise.
All right. Well, I reckon you're too big to whoop any sense into. Oh, about that passage money you put up for me. I'll look you up in a day or two and,
How'll you find me?
Well, boy, there ain't but one fit place for a stranger to stay in this here town. The Rocky Mountain House.
You staying there, too?
Huh. Beds and a roof? Twixt old Joe Crane and the sky? Not this old horse. No, I'll just take the grass to the edge of the town and the first hibernate camp I can poke my nose into. Take care, Andy boy. Take care.
Bye, Joe.
Joe Crane! Joe! Joe Crane! Joe? Joe, wait up for me. You walk near as fast as I can run.
Yeah, the man don't get very first standing still. What's throwing on you, boy?
Sit down. Wait till you hear.
Well, what is it?
This?
Oh, is that all?
Oh,
Listen. Dear Andrew,
your grandfather would call this letter a conniving woman's trick, but I know of no other way to free you from your stepfather. I have never intended you should buy a farm or make a place for me in Missouri, but otherwise I knew you would not go. You are not meant to be a farmer. Let others take up the plow after you have found the country and made it safe for them. All that I have loved and cherished from my own youth lives on in you. We may never see one another again. I am 87 years old, and I well know the danger of the life I bid you to lead. But we shall not be snuffed out when our bodies go. We are Burnetts, and our kind goes marching on. God be with you, your loving grandmother, Amy Smith Burnett.
That sure shines. Sounds just like Gail Burnett's woman.
Well, when do we start?
For where?
The mountains. She says I can go. She expects me to.
Well, yeah, it sure seems as though, but you sure you're willing to outfit a party, take a heap of beaver?
How much?
Oh, how much you got? Now, hold on here, boy. You know who took it or when? Well, then, there ain't no use turning back then.
No, I suppose not.
Yeah, it's mighty hard doings on you, that's a fact. Mighty hard doings. But thieves is always thicker than flies along the river.
I remember you told me.
Yeah. Well, what you aim on doing now?
Do? You mean that without the money you won't take me?
Well, you gotta have a stake, boy, and I sure can't give you one. You know anybody else will?
No, but there's got to be a way.
There is, for me. Only trouble with you is you ain't Joe Crane.
I'm Andy Burnett.
Yeah, and as green as a willow. I don't reckon there's any other mountain man, except maybe me, that'd take a greenhorn into the mountains. Without an outfit, we'd have to join up with a party.
I can learn.
Sure. But it only takes one fool mistake to get a whole party killed.
Joe, what's got into you? All the way down from Pittsburgh, you've been begging me to go west with you.
Well, I still want to have you along, boy, but, well, I kind of figured that pokey yarn would warm some of the fellers up to you. Now you ain't got it.
Well, no sense in letting a little piece of bad luck spoil a whole day. If you're still with me, let's go try a party or two.
Well, now, it ain't gonna be easy. Some of them old hibernants is mighty hard to convince.
Us Burnett's is mighty stubborn. Come on.
You've gone under for sure. Listen, there ain't nobody cut the rock to make my tombstone yet.
Kelly, look what we caught us here.
Confound it, Fitz. Haven't I told you not to bring anything dead into this camp again?
He ain't dead, Kelly. He just looks that way.
Well, the smell is familiar, but I can't seem to recollect the face.
Now, looky here, Jack. Is that any way to treat your old partner?
How are you, Joe? Hey, we were worried about you. Where in thunder have you been?
Well, the same place I told you was going. We split with Franklin last spring.
Washington?
Did you talk to the president?
Yes, sir. The big he-coon of these here United States itself.
I don't believe it.
Bill Williams, you calling me a liar?
Well, ain't you?
Well, not about this, I ain't.
Do any good, Joe?
Well, not to speak, I reckon. You know, them companies that dug themselves in the government's favor worse than a tick into a hound dog's ear. But I did have a passable fair meal at the White House.
Hey, Crane, what in tarnation is this?
Fetch him over here, Ben. Andy, this is Jack Kelly. Curly old wolf I generally partners around with.
Mighty proud, Mr. Kelly. I've heard of you.
Well, a prophet is not without honor, save in his own country, Andy.
This is Tom Fitzpatrick.
The one they call Bad Hand?
Yeah, that's right. There's your bee, boy. Lost it in a bear fight. This here's Morgan Casey.
Howdy. Howdy. This old galoot is Bill Williams.
Big Bill Williams?
Well, he used to be big when he was young and full of spit. Now he just wore down to old Bill. Does squaw work in his spare time.
I can still whoop you with anything but my mouth.
Howdy. This is Ben Tilton.
Howdy.
You got quite a grip there, ain't you?
Leave off, Ben.
Let's see how much.
I said leave off, Ben.
Why, you meddling old goat?
How do you want it, Ben? Gullet or gizzard? Boys, this is Andy Burnett.
Burnett, did you say?
I did.
That's a Pennsylvania rifle you're packing, boy. Be you Pennsylvania born?
Kentucky. 16 miles from Boonesboro.
Well, Gale Burnett's old rifle, the one Boone himself give him. Look at that, Fitz.
Boone's rifle, huh? She come a long way west, ain't she?
She's going further.
How's that?
Andy here is bound for the mountains.
With us?
Yankers, too, and I'm willing.
Are you crazy? He's greener than spring grass.
I remember a time you, too, was Ben Tilton. And this here's Gale Burnett's grandson.
He ain't packing much of an outfit. Can he buy one?
Nope. No more than I can.
Well, then I reckon you are crazy, Joe.
Well. Can't hang a man without a trial. It's plumb illegal. It's against the law.
There ain't no law on the mountain except keeping your top hair on. And a greenhorn sure ain't no shakes of doing that.
I tell you, Jack, you're making a big mistake. This junker's got a shooting eye to put an old bald eagle to shame.
Meaning me by any chance?
Well, he's worth a try. He'd come the least.
Maybe. Seeing as how he is kin to Gale Burnett. Take that out yonder a ways, Joe.
Put it up on your head, Joe.
Well, ain't that going a mite far, Jack?
You afraid?
Well, not you behind the sights, I guess.
Hey, you first, son. Knock that twig out.
Huh? No, Jack! You're the only man alive I'd stand for.
I like an eagle, you said. What's the matter? He's your friend. Don't you trust him?
Well, ain't that. It's just that, well...
Well?
Well, I trust him.
There's your mark, son.
Show me a varmint that needs killing, and I'll put a bullet through its eye, but I won't take a chance on killing just for fun.
An eagle needs a surer eye than that out in the mountains, Burnett.
Good shooting, Kelly.
Nice shooting, boy. Kelly.
Put another twig in it, Joe. All right, now toss it up. High.
Doggone, he hit it.
Where I come from, Mr. Kelly, eagles do all their sighting on the fly.
Well, that's the first time I ever heard of a Hawkins being outshot by an antique flintlock.
It wasn't your gun who was outshot, Jack. It was you. Told you this young lad would make him spin.
Shooting fetches game, but it takes a blade to fetch a scalp. Use that for picking your teeth, or is it real?
Hey! Andy, it ain't always necessary to hit the mark. Man that wastes whiskey in this here country ain't no friend of mine. You boys want a target. Take that tree over yonder.
That knot about a foot below that limb. That young eagle of yours has got spurs on one of his feet, Joe. Let's see how he is with the other.
I reckon you got me there.
You mean you ain't learned how to handle steel with both hands? Thunderation, boy, you ain't even half educated.
Sure seems as though. I didn't do so good, did I?
Well, I've seen other fellas do worse, but I just remember when. Out in the mountains, a man ain't got a chance
he didn't do badly, Joe. Look, it's none of my business, Burnett, but did you actually head out into this country without any money?
I had a bit when I set out.
Lost it, huh? Gambling?
Thieves.
Where?
This morning as the steamboat was docking and Joe and me was getting ashore.
I see.
Jack!
Well, Jack, what do you think? You know what I think.
I mean about him.
He'll do.
You'll take him with us?
No, that's up to the rest of the boys. They'll have to help make up his share of the outfit.
Well, just supposing he could scare up his share of the outfit.
Well, still best he chalks up his mark with the boys.
Tolerable shooting, Burnett.
Thanks.
You handle a knife middling well, too.
Had a good teaching.
You wrestle some?
Some.
Indian style?
Cane tuck. No holds barred.
Indian style's better, more civilized.
Admire to try it sometime.
Well, how about right now?
Suits me.
You take him on, Fitz.
Ben spoke first, and I ain't about to spoil the fun. You know that.
How do you size him up, Bill?
Well, I ain't much of a hand to jump to conclusions.
I know that, but how does he look to you?
Well, maybe yes and maybe no as far as the mountain's concerned. There ain't a harder life or more give and take. If there's any soft meat in the boy, old Tilton will find that he's meaner than a spring grizzly.
Maybe Burnett will cut Tilton down to size.
It ain't likely.
I know, but he sure got it coming.
This may look simple, but it ain't. Well, feller's got a right to know how it goes, ain't he?
Go ahead. Nothing you can teach him's gonna help him any.
Morgan, here, take these. Now you lay down like this. Each pointing the other way. Cross over here and I'll show you. Come on, lay down. Now we hook arms, snug. That's good. The idea is in the count of one, you raise your right leg. On the count of two again, and on the count of three, hook legs, and each tries to heave the other, backside over breakfast. Watch him close. He'll try to break your back if he can.
You set?
Count of three?
Sure.
Ready, Burnett? 1, 2.
What are you hiding for, we
Wait, wait.
Well, he cheated count,
I know. Let's see what happens.
Reckon I'd like to try that again.
Sure. You fellas heard him. He asked for it.
Go ahead.
This time, mind the count.
You set?
Count of three?
Sure.
1, 2.
That ain't legal. It'll kill him, I tell you.
It's mighty dirty doings, all right.
Just don't seem to get the hang of it.
Well, you gotta get the hang of it.
Mind another try?
Glad to oblige anytime.
Andy.
Ready, Tilton?
Let her rip.
You, Burnett?
Reckon. Count of three.
Sure.
All right. 1.
Get up, Tilton. He'll hit you again.
Get him, Burnett. Catch him again.
Come on. Get up, Tilton.
You don't look so tough now, Tilton. You stomped a mud hole in him and stomped it dry, boy.
What's the matter? Head heavy?
Watch out, Tilton, he'll get you again.
Show us how tough you are. Come on.
There goes good riddance, long overdue. Andy, I'm real beholden to you.
Me too, Burnett.
Let some other camp have him and welcome.
Yeah, a man who can't take his own medicine and steal furs out of his partner's trap.
There's an outside chance, Burnett, that you just might do.
Well, now that we got that all settled, it's about time we start to figure out an outfit for Andy.
Just a minute, Joe. There's something else comes first, isn't there?
Huh?
There's something else.
Well, does he still have to prove himself? You're what Bill said and fit.
I'm not talking about Andy.
Then what in thunder is you talking about? Oh. Now, Jack? Now. Out here in front of everybody?
Yep.
Well, confound, I couldn't let Gail Burnett's grandson get down off that steamboat this morning, could I, and turn himself into a plow pusher? All right. Reckon it's safe enough now.
What kind of outfit you got in mind for us, partner?
I lost my heart to the mountains. There I wanna roam. Going back to the mountains where I feel at home. I will be faithful until I die. I will always be faithful to those ladies in the sky. The urge to know where the rivers flow, the freedom to up and pack and go. Lucky for us, a few men yet remember the saga of Andy Burnett. Andy made the trails, opened up the land, and he gave America a mighty helping hand. Andy's on the move, and he won't rest. Andy Burnett, he's a traveling west.